You know, those old cartoons like where a character would take a drag from something
Mhm.
and smoke would just billow out their ears.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I thought smoking would be like.
Mhm.
My first time with a percolator bong, though, uh, completely flipped that script.
Oh, yeah.
It was so smooth. It was almost like shockingly so.
Wow.
And, we're talking about percolator bongs today. You shared
Ah.
some articles in the research.
Yeah.
So we're doing a deep dive to really understand like what's going on beyond that initial whoa factor.
That's awesome. It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
The difference a percolator makes is pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
And there's a good amount of science behind like why that is.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
Okay.
For those who haven't, you know, taken the percolator plunge.
Yeah.
What are they exactly?
In the simplest terms, a percolator is like a mini filtration system within your bong.
Okay.
They come in all sorts of shapes, but the core function is to break down the smoke into smaller bubbles as it passes through water.
So it's not just about like having extra water in there.
Right.
It's about how the smoke interacts with the water.
Exactly. Think about what happens when you aerate wine.
Okay.
You're exposing more of the wine to the air, which allows it to open up and
Yeah.
release its flavors.
Right.
Similar idea here.
Gotcha.
But instead of flavor, we're focusing on cooling and filtering the smoke.
Okay.
The smaller the bubbles, the more surface area the smoke has to interact with the water,
Right.
leading to a smoother, cooler hit.
So it's like a supercharged version of just the basic water filtration in a regular bong.
Precisely. The physics behind this is really intriguing.
Oh, really?
Hot smoke, when it comes into contact with water in the percolator,
Okay.
it undergoes rapid cooling. This rapid cooling helps to trap impurities, further enhancing the smoothness
Yeah.
and potentially reducing the harshness on your throat and lungs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That makes total sense. It's like a coffee percolator, but in reverse. Instead of extracting flavor, we're extracting impurities. What I find really cool, though, is the sheer variety of percolator designs.
Yeah.
I mean, you sent me a picture of one that looked like a tree was inside the bong.
Oh, yeah.
It was wild.
There are a ton of designs out there.
Yeah.
And each one impacts the smoking experience differently.
Really?
It's a bit like choosing a wine.
Okay.
Some people like a crisp, clean taste. Others prefer something bolder and more full-bodied.
Right.
Percolators offer that same kind of range.
Okay, so let's break down this percolator tasting menu then. What are some of the most common types?
Let's start with the honeycomb percolator.
Okay.
It's known for its maximum filtration capabilities.
Okay.
Imagine a flat disc with a ton of tiny holes, forcing the smoke through this fine mesh,
Yeah.
creating a super smooth and clean hit.
So if someone's like looking for the purest hit possible, honeycomb is the way to go.
It's definitely a top contender for that,
Okay.
but there's a trade-off.
Okay.
That extra filtration can create a bit more resistance when you inhale. If you're someone who prefers big, effortless hits, it might not be the best fit.
Got it. Honeycomb for the purists.
Yeah.
What about that tree percolator I saw?
Ah, the tree perk. It's a really popular choice because it offers a great balance between smoothness and airflow.
Okay.
Its multiple arms, each with slits for the smoke to pass through,
Mm-hmm.
allow for even distribution,
Okay.
creating a nice balanced hit.
So it's a good middle ground for those who want some filtration but don't want to sacrifice that ease of draw.
Exactly. Then you have the showerhead percolator.
This one sounds intriguing.
It's all about creating a chill, relaxed experience.
Okay, how does the shower head work?
Picture this. Multiple holes in the percolator act like a mini showerhead,
Okay.
dispersing the smoke evenly
Right.
for a mellow, almost effortless pull.
Nice.
It's a great choice for those who want a smooth, easy session without any resistance.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've got honeycomb for filtration, tree for balance, and shower head for mellow vibes. Is there anything else in this percolator lineup?
There's one more worth mentioning, the Swiss percolator. Okay.
It's known for both its aesthetics and performance.
Okay.
Imagine smoke bubbling through these strategically placed holes in the chamber walls.
So it's like a little smoke show inside your bong.
Exactly. The Swiss percolator is a visual treat, and it also provides a balanced filtration process
Okay.
with just the right amount of diffusion and cooling. It's a popular choice for a reason.
Okay, so we've got these four main players: honeycomb tree, showerhead, and Swiss.
Right.
Each offering like a unique smoking experience.
Yeah.
But are percolator bongs like really worth the investment?
That's a great question.
They seem like a big step up from just a regular bong.
It really comes down to your personal preferences and priorities.
Okay.
On one hand, Percolators undeniably elevate the experience.
Yeah.
You get smoother hits, cooler smoke,
Right.
and often a much cleaner and more enjoyable flavor.
Right.
Because those terpenes,
Okay.
the compounds that give your herbs their unique flavors,
Right.
they're better preserved. So it's like the difference between listening to music on your phone speaker versus like a high-quality sound system.
That's a great analogy.
You're getting more nuance and depth.
Yeah,
That's cool. But like with any upgrade, there are considerations.
for sure.
Percolators can be more expensive,
Right.
and cleaning all those intricate parts can take a little more time.
Yes.
So it's a balancing act.
Yes.
Smoother, more flavorful hits,
Mm-hmm.
but potentially a bit more upfront cost and cleaning effort.
Exactly. And some people simply prefer that big unrestricted hit you get from a basic bong.
Sure.
It really comes down to what you're looking for in your smoking experience.
Okay, let's be real for a second. Cleaning a percolator with all those tiny holes and chambers sounds pretty intimidating.
Yeah,
Any tips for keeping things sparkling clean?
absolutely. Regular maintenance is key.
Okay.
Even just rinsing your bong with warm water after each use can make a huge difference in preventing buildup.
Okay, that seems manageable. What about like a deep clean, though?
For a more thorough, clean, isopropyl alcohol and coarse salt are your best friends.
Okay.
Fill your bong with the mixture, give it a good shake, let it soak for a bit, and then rinse it thoroughly with warm water.
Right.
The salt acts as a gentle abrasive to scrub away any stubborn residue.
So it's like a spa treatment for your bong.
Exactly.
Is there anything else we could do to make cleaning like a bit easier?
One trick I've learned is to disassemble any removable parts like the downstem and bowl
Okay.
and give them a separate soak in isopropyl alcohol.
Right.
A small brush can help get into those hard-to-reach spots.
Yeah,
It's oddly satisfying to see all that gunk disappear.
I bet. So for our listeners who are ready to like take the plunge into the world of percolators,
Yeah.
any advice on where to start?
Finding the right percolator bong can be overwhelming
I can imagine.
with so many options.
Yeah.
My advice is to look for reputable brands and trusted glass blowers
Okay.
who use high-quality materials and offer excellent customer support.
So it's worth doing some research and not just grabbing the first flashy bong you see.
Exactly. It's an investment.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you're getting something that's well-made, aesthetically pleasing,
Right.
and suits your smoking style.
Okay. All right. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
Oh, yeah.
We've learned about how percolators work, the different types, the pros and cons,
Mhm.
and even some cleaning tips.
Yeah.
What stands out to you the most?
What's really fascinating is the level of innovation in percolator designs.
Yeah.
Just by manipulating the way smoke interacts with water, we can create a significantly smoother and more enjoyable experience.
I agree. For me, it's the sheer variety that's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
There's a percolator out there for every preference.
Yeah.
Whether you're all about maximum filtration
Mm-hmm.
or just want a chill, easy draw, it's like a choose-your-own-adventure for smokers.
That's a good way to put it.
And that's what makes this topic so fun to explore.
Yeah.
It's not just about function. It's about personalization
Right.
and finding what truly enhances your enjoyment.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Hey.
Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a little something to ponder.
Okay.
Imagine you could design your own dream percolator.
Okay.
What features would you prioritize?
That's interesting.
What would make it the ultimate smoking experience for you?
Wow.
Think about it,
Okay.
and we'll pick back up on this thought in part 2 of our percolator exploration.
Welcome back to our deep dive into percolator bongs. That thought experiment about designing our own percolators.
Oh, yeah.
It really got me thinking.
I know, right? It's amazing how much, like, creativity goes into these designs.
It is.
But before we get too lost in, like, our dream bongs,
Right.
let's talk about something super practical.
Oh,
You've shared some great resources on, like, finding the perfect percolator,
yeah.
and honestly, it can be a bit overwhelming
Sure.
with so many options out there.
It's true. The market is booming with choices,
Yeah.
but a little guidance can go a long way.
Okay, so where do we even begin? What are the key things to consider when you're, like, on the hunt for a percolator bong?
First and foremost, quality.
Okay.
You want to look for reputable brands and trusted glass blowers,
Mhm.
those who use high-quality, durable glass.
Right.
It makes a huge difference in the lifespan of your bong.
That makes sense. You don't want to invest in something that's just going to crack or break easily.
Exactly. A well-made percolator bong should feel sturdy
Mm-hmm.
and solid in your hands.
Okay.
Check the glass for clarity and any imperfections.
So it's like assessing the craftsmanship of any piece of art.
Precisely. And speaking of art, aesthetics play a huge role, too.
Right.
There's such a wide range of styles and designs, from sleek and minimalist
Yeah.
to intricate and colorful.
Right.
Find something that resonates with your personal taste.
Yeah, it's like an extension of your personality.
It is.
But beyond the looks, what about the functionality?
That's where you really need to delve into the specifics of the percolator design itself. Think back to our discussion about the different types of percolators.
Right.
Do you prioritize maximum filtration,
Mm-hmm.
a smooth and effortless draw,
Right.
or a balance of both?
Right, because each perk design creates a different experience.
Exactly. Don't hesitate to ask questions.
Okay.
Any reputable seller should be knowledgeable about their products and able to guide you toward the best fit for your needs.
It's like having a personal shopper, but for your bong.
Right.
That's cool.
Right?
What about buying online? Any tips for navigating that world?
Online shopping can be a great way to access a wider selection
Yeah.
and compare prices.
Right.
Just make sure you're buying from a trusted website
Okay.
with secure payment options.
Safety first for sure.
Oh,
And read those reviews.
absolutely. Reviews can be incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
You can get insights from other customers who've actually used the product.
Right.
Pay attention to comments about the quality, the functionality, and how easy it is to clean.
Speaking of cleaning, that's something I'm always curious about. We talk about the basic routine,
Yeah.
but are there any specific maintenance tips for percolator bongs?
That's a great point. Percolators with all their intricate designs
Right.
can be a bit more delicate than basic bongs.
Okay.
So gentle handling is key, especially during cleaning.
Okay. Handle with care. What else should we keep in mind?
Avoid using harsh chemicals or abrasive cleaners.
Okay.
Stick to isopropyl alcohol and coarse salt.
Right.
And always make sure you rinse thoroughly.
So it's more about a gentle approach than brute force.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you do find any stubborn buildup, a long soak in isopropyl alcohol usually does the trick.
Okay, this is all super helpful.
Yeah.
I feel much more equipped to navigate the world of percolator bongs now.
Good.
But let's be real. No product is perfect, right?
You're absolutely right. Every choice has its trade-offs.
Yeah.
It's important to have a balanced perspective
Sure.
and consider both the advantages and disadvantages.
Okay, let's dive into like the pros and cons then.
Right.
What are the main benefits of using a percolator bong? We've touched on some of these already, but it's worth revisiting.
Definitely. The most significant advantage is that smoother, cooler smoke we keep talking about.
Right.
Percolators really excel at breaking down the smoke, which reduces harshness and irritation.
So it's a game changer for those who want a gentler, more enjoyable experience.
Exactly. And often that smoother smoke leads to a more flavorful experience as well.
Right.
The filtration process helps to preserve the terpenes,
Okay.
which, as we mentioned, are those aromatic compounds that give your herbs their unique flavor profiles.
So you're essentially enhancing the natural flavors of what you're smoking.
Precisely. It's all about maximizing those sensory pleasures.
Okay, so smoother hits, enhanced flavor, anything else?
Cooler smoke is generally considered to be less harsh on the lungs.
Oh, okay.
Now, I wouldn't go so far as to call it a health benefit,
Yeah.
but it certainly reduces the irritation and potential damage that can come from hot smoke.
That makes sense. So it's more about harm reduction than outright health benefits.
Exactly. And from a purely aesthetic standpoint, let's not forget the visual appeal. Percolators can be beautiful and mesmerizing to watch as the smoke bubbles through them.
They're definitely a conversation starter.
They are.
Okay, so we've covered the pros. Smoother hits, enhanced flavor potential for reduced lung irritation,
Mm-hmm.
and added visual appeal. Now, for the flip side, the cons,
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the downsides to consider?
Well, complexity usually comes with a price.
Okay.
Percolator bongs tend to be more expensive than basic bongs,
Right.
especially those with intricate designs or multiple percolators.
So they're an investment to consider carefully.
Exactly. And that intricate design we just praised
Right.
can also be a bit of a double-edged sword when it comes to cleaning.
Yeah.
All those nooks and crannies can be a bit more time-consuming to clean thoroughly.
We did talk about some cleaning tips earlier, but
Yeah.
it definitely requires a bit more effort.
It does. And for some smokers, the additional drag that certain percolators create
Okay.
can be a drawback.
Right. We mentioned how some designs, like the honeycomb,
Right.
can create a tighter draw.
Exactly. If you prefer those big, unrestricted hits,
Yeah.
you might find some percolators too restrictive for your liking.
Okay, so higher cost, more intricate cleaning, and potential resistance for those who prefer big hits. Those are definitely things to weigh.
Absolutely. It all comes down to personal preference and priorities.
All right.
Carefully considering the pros and cons can help you determine if a percolator bong is the right choice for you.
This has been so insightful.
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned a ton about percolators, from the science behind them to the different types,
Yeah,
and now the pros and cons.
it's a fascinating topic.
It is. What stands out to you the most from our conversation?
It's remarkable how manipulating something as simple as the way smoke interacts with water
Yeah.
can completely change the smoking experience.
It really is a testament to human ingenuity and the desire to constantly refine even the simplest of pleasures.
Exactly. And the diversity of options available today is truly impressive. It speaks to the evolution and innovation happening within this space.
Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to share a story that really highlights the impact a percolator can have. I once had a customer who was completely devoted to basic bongs.
Okay.
He insisted he didn't need anything fancier.
I can relate to that. I was skeptical at first, too.
Well, this customer finally decided to try one of our percolator models, and his reaction was priceless.
I bet he was impressed.
He described it as going from a flip phone to a smartphone.
Oh, wow.
Suddenly, everything was smoother, cooler, and more enjoyable. It completely changed his perspective.
That's a great analogy. It really illustrates how a percolator can elevate the entire experience.
It does. And it's a reminder that sometimes stepping outside our comfort zones and trying something new can lead to unexpected delights. We'll be back shortly to wrap up our deep dive into the world of percolator bongs.
Oh.
Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll explore some final thoughts and leave you with some key takeaways. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into percolator bongs.
It's been a journey.
It has.
Exploring the mechanics, the variety, and the overall experience these devices offer.
I have to admit, I'm starting to see why percolators have become so popular.
They really do add a level of refinement
Yeah,
you just don't get with a basic bong.
it's not just about smoother hits and better flavor either.
No, it's not.
It's about transforming the whole experience,
Right.
making it more intentional and enjoyable.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
let's distill everything we've covered
Yeah.
into some key takeaways for our listeners. What are the most important things to remember about percolator bongs?
First and foremost, they enhance the smoking experience by cooling and filtering the smoke
Right.
through those extra water chambers.
Yeah.
This creates smaller bubbles, which means more surface area for the smoke to interact with the water, leading to those smoother, cooler hits.
It all comes back to that water interaction.
It really does. And remember, there's a huge variety of percolator designs,
Right.
each with its own unique characteristics.
We talked about the honeycomb for maximum filtration, the tree for balance, the shower head for those mellow vibes, and the Swiss for a combination of aesthetics and function.
Yeah.
It's like choosing the right tool for the job.
That's a great analogy. And when you are choosing a percolator bong, remember that quality matters.
Yeah.
Look for reputable brands and skilled glassblowers
Right.
who use durable materials.
It's an investment, so you want it to last.
Absolutely. And don't forget about maintenance. Regular cleaning is essential
Yeah.
to keep your percolator functioning at its best.
A little isopropyl alcohol and coarse salt go a long way.
They really do. And handle your percolator with care,
Oh, yeah.
especially during cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Treat it well, and it will treat you well in return.
I love that. So to wrap up, it sounds like percolators offer a really unique way to elevate the smoking experience.
Yes.
But they're not for everyone.
Exactly. It's about personal preference.
Right.
Some people might find certain designs too restrictive, or they might just prefer the simplicity of a basic bong.
It's all about finding what works best for you.
That's what it's all about.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
Yeah.
I feel much more knowledgeable about percolators now.
That's what we aim for. And I hope our listeners feel inspired to explore the world of percolators with a new understanding.
I'm sure they do. Before we sign off, I want to leave everyone with one final thought. We talked about choosing the right percolator.
Yeah.
But what if you could go a step further? What if you could create your own ideal percolator?
Now that's a challenge.
Imagine it. The design, the features, the type of experience it would deliver. What would your dream percolator look like?
That's a great question to ponder. It really encourages you to apply everything you've learned.
Exactly. So let your imaginations run wild, folks. Sketch out some designs, brainstorm some ideas, and who knows, maybe someday your dream percolator will become a reality. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of percolator bongs. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic to explore. Until then, happy smoking, and may your hits be ever smooth and flavorful.